What up, Colin? Tell us about Nvidia, bro. Tell us about what's going on in the stock market today. I'll pull up
Well, I mean,
Nvidia
yeah.
stock
First
over
off,
here.
yeah. Shout out to Mateo. Thanks for having me and Tukes on the live stream.
Yeah,
Yeah, my
boy.
name's Colin, aka Ballin, and today we are balling for show.
Okay,
Nvidia just
ballin'.
had their earnings drop, and damn,
Big ballin'.
expectations. They didn't just beat expectations. Yo, they obliterated it. And like, if you take a look at the chart, this is just after hours. That green vertical line right there. That's
So
just
they
after.
went to from 415 to 420, right on 420. They went up
No,
from
Moon.
472 to 512 in like what, 5 minutes? That's nuts.
yeah, and like I cannot begin to describe like just a little backstory right here. Last week we had some bad news overall in the market. Basically, the Fed came out and was like, "Hey, inflation's not really going down as fast as we thought it would, so we're gonna have to keep interest rates at the same, or like maybe even increase them in the future." On top of that, China, Evergrande, the huge real estate developer, basically filed for bankruptcy. And a while back, when that had happened, it actually tanked the entire global market. So, literally, right now, Nvidia is carrying not just the United States, but the entire global economy on their back. It is the Greg Jennings of stocks. Everybody's like betting against it, and it just keeps on going up. So, this shit's crazy right now. I think this is also indicative of just how much AI is really going to change the whole, like, job landscape, corporate landscape. This company right now is like the AI play. They're building the infrastructure for AI. So right now, personally, I had a great ass day in the market, and I can't wait to see what happens at the end of this week.
I'm trying to. What's Nvidia's sign thing? N-
NVDA,
NVDA.
I think that's the one. Let's see.
Let's see what people are saying about Nvidia. Let me just let's go back to the screen here.
Yeah, NVDA. I mean, like, bro,
Let's
what's
see
there
what the
to say?
people are saying.
People are gonna either have two opinions. They're gonna be like, "I'm pissed that I sold it," or "I'm pissed I didn't buy enough of it."
It's
That's
trending
pretty
right
much.
now.
Yeah, how could it not? I mean, like, this is not just like a Twitter thing too. Like, if you turn on like the mainstream news, CNBC, everyone's talking about Nvidia. This is like a rare. Like, they even said in
88%.
yeah, like, dude, they even said earlier today that like the earnings of Nvidia turned into a macroeconomic event, which is like insane to think about. One company has so much influence over the entire global economy. So like, right now they really are carrying, like, you have a picture of like Atlas like carrying the world on his back. That's Nvidia right now.
What do you think of this meme right here? Nvidia bears going into earnings.
Dude, the Bears are always fucking like this. Oh
Hey,
man,
hey, Colin,
gosh.
for for some of the listeners that might not be as in touch with tech stocks, what does Nvidia exactly do for
Yeah, great question. So
fun?
Nvidia, they're a chip manufacturer. So like the semiconductors, the chips, and so there's two like really big reasons why they're booming so hard right now. The first reason is that the U.S. like realized, kind of once this whole like Russia Ukraine thing popped off, that like, hey, like if anything ever happens to Taiwan, if China ever decides, hey, like Taiwan, technically you're still part of China, we're gonna be fucked. And so we wanted to start moving like all like semiconductor chip manufacturing back to the states. Nvidia is already just a huge like component of that. They make all sorts of stuff. I have like graphics cards and everything like that. People have been using them to mine Bitcoin, but they're also at the forefront of AI. And what I mean by that is they're building like infrastructure into their chips that
Wow.
will handle like all of these massive LLMs, like large language models, and to be able to
Uh-huh.
compute stuff like in parallel at like a huge scale. So every company, like companies um, like OpenAI, are going to be using as much NVIDIA as they can get their hands on. In fact, even back during the beginning of the pandemic, there was a shortage of like chips and stuff like that. And so like their stuff, even
Mhm.
back then, prior to all this AI hype, was going crazy. It was hard to get like anything less than like $900, like any graphics card worth getting money, because everyone's like mining Bitcoin, this and that. And if you guys have seen kind of some of the stuff that they've been partnering with, there's a really crazy video about um, just what like their graphics cards can do with the AI enhancements. There's a couple new techniques coming out that like allow basically rendering of scenes that used to take sometimes even weeks for computers just to generate, like, hey, like, you know, we're making a Pixar movie, we're going to generate all this stuff. What used to take days, maybe even weeks, can now be done in a matter of hours. Dude, holy shit. And it's peaking again. It's going right back up, $513. Like, this is wild. And something kind of like mentioned to you guys earlier is like right now there's a lot of open interest on call options at the $500 strike price. I think there was something like 21,000 open call options on Nvidia at $500. And so what could potentially happen this Friday if Nvidia closes above $500? All of those call options will be auto exercised by like all of the different clearinghouses. And so that means that for like those 21,000, roughly 22,000 call options, each one of those is going to execute buying 100 shares a piece. And so there could be one of these kind of events that pops up from time to time, that like kind of happens with a gamma squeeze, depending on what the short interest is like. It could precipitate a short squeeze. This stock's also like really expensive, so that's kind of unlikely, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
It's time to buck up. Everybody who has a 401k, any sort of savings, you keep money in a shoebox. You have your, dead grandmother's wedding ring from the 40s.
There we go.
Sell it. Trade it in. Make sure to trade up. I'm not saying that the Nvidia stocks are low right now, but are you going to miss out on this once in a lifetime opportunity?
Dude, no, this is how people lose money, bro. You can't follow the hype. You got to go counter to the hype.
I think this is what my colleague's trying to say. If you're not liquidating your 401k, liquidating your child's college fund and throwing it on out the money call options,
please welcome Nvidia founder and CEO, Jensen Huang.
I mean, where are the sensible investors at this time? Where are the people telling me, hey, I have rent to pay? That shouldn't matter.
PayPal stock. It's the only stock. There's only one stock.
18.
Dude, this is fucking.
And
this might as well be Norwegian. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
All right, here, let me just stop you guys right here.
At the time.
Might as well be Norwegian.
Yeah. Okay. So this why this is so like important is that like in computers, I'm sure most of you guys have heard of like a CPU, and that's like the central processing unit, and that's what computers like use to mainly like on our laptops right now. You're probably using a CPU. You have to be using it, but right now you're doing a lot of like video editing. There's stuff going on in parallel. That's most likely using the GPU, especially for like graphics.
I know about this because I couldn't get goddamn live streaming to work because the Mac graphics card sucked dick up until the newest computer. So I had to buy the fucking most expensive newest computer there was because apparently they like redid their graphics card and now it's decent. But back in the day, it couldn't do anything.
Yeah, Macs have been notoriously bad, like for like video games, and that's kind of a consequence of having bad GPUs. But the GPU, the main difference between the GPU and the CPU is that the CPU executes basically one process at a time. Now, like there's some caveats to that. People are gonna be like, what about threads? Like, what about multi-threading? Blah 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 blah. Just in a very simplified version, CPUs are executing one instruction at a time. GPUs are able to run stuff in parallel. And so there's certain things that are very good running stuff in parallel. Like graphics are a good example where like you can like shaders, like you can shade like different parts. Most videos are video games are broken down into polygons and triangles, and so you don't need to know about like what the shade of that triangle over there is to start shading that triangle there. So things that can be done in parallel just improve so much from using the GPU, because instead of doing like 100 things one at a time, you can do 100 things all at once.
Money counter go brrr.
Yeah, exactly. GPU go brrr, and that's why people used it for mining Bitcoins and stuff like that.
So are you trying to tell me right now, Colin, that this brand new Mac, top of the line, with all of the upgrades I just put in, is about to be obsolete?
No, I mean, like, if
Thank
you have
God.
a Mac, you're running like an M2 processor, and Apple has their own processors, which is they're good for different things. But it's still like, try running Crisis on it. Tell me how that works
I
out.
don't know what the fuck that is, Colin. Speak to me like a civilian. I'm not in your San Francisco tech bubble.
Try running like Red Dead Redemption 2, even Grand Theft Auto 5, or like Cyberpunk 2077, and tell me how the experience is. It's probably not going to be that great.
I don't play video games.
It's just the benchmark, though. But that's why people say Crysis is the. People will get that.
Is that a video game? Is Crysis a video game?
It's not a video game people play anymore, but it's like it used to be the video game with like the best graphics, and so people would be like, "Oh, look, I got a new computer." It's like, "Oh, well, does it play Crysis?" No, computer sucks then. So I mean, that's kind of the benchmarks and stuff. But no, your Mac is fine. It's just Nvidia is doing stuff right now that's going to be more catered to companies like OpenAI. These large language models.
So tell me why. This bubble isn't going to crash and we're all going to lose our money if we invest in it right now.
I mean, well, here's the thing. Like me personally, I don't like like exposing myself like to a bunch of risk on single stocks anymore. I think Tukey can relate. There was a while back where I fell in love with one single stock, and I got all my friends on it, which was even worse, and that thing didn't pan out. Now, albeit that wasn't a company anywhere close to Nvidia, but things do happen, upsets do happen. In fact, there's some news that AMD is gonna IPO soon.
You guys want to know the
scared
best?
Money don't make money.
The best, dude. This is my trading strategy. I'll buy it, and I won't sell it unless it goes up. And if it never goes up, I forget it existed.
Yeah, like me personally, like I think this is just my personal take on stuff, and everybody's gonna have like their own opinions, like, and really no one's gonna be right until they're right. You know what I mean? Like, so everyone's gonna have their theories, and they can do as much research as they want, but it doesn't mean, like, for example, that Michael Burry guy last week, was talking about putting $1.6 billion worth of puts like on the fucking market, and that guy has street cred. He's done it before. I'm curious to see what his portfolio is looking like right now, because he's probably one of those bears that's someone should check on that guy, see if he's all right. But yeah, personally, I like TQQQ, and the reason why is because it's an ETF, and it's a leveraged ETF, but it basically tracks the Nasdaq, the top 100 companies in the Nasdaq, which are weighted towards tech, although not as much as they were at the beginning of the year. They did some rebalancing stuff. So like right now, PayPal and Nvidia are both in my portfolio, but I'm just only managing basically one or two securities that I need to keep track of. So basically, I buy SQQQ when it's high, because that goes down, or that goes up when the market goes down, and then I buy TQQQ when everything's down, and that goes up like 3x times what the Nasdaq does. So I like just kind of like looking at this sector as a whole, the tech sector, which I don't think is going to be going anywhere. People like try to equate this back to like the 2000s .com bubble. The difference is back then people were basically purchasing websites, like pets.com, and they were getting like $20 million worth of funding. I think we've come a long way. Technology is so integrated in everyone's lives. Me personally, like I think I would have bigger things to worry about if tech disappeared overnight. Like I'd be out of a job. I'm a programmer, so I'm betting heavy on tech just in general. I think that's the whole move for me. But I also like to like Tukey said, scared money don't make money. I like to play with options, and options on a 3x leveraged ETF. Those things go wild like today, but they can also go wild in the other direction too.
I think it's really important when people are getting into stock trading to
ride bitch in my whip, dollar ride bitch in my whip. That my baby, turquoise stones in my wrist, turquoise stones in my wrist. Look at twangin', dollar ride bitch in my dollar ride bitch in my whip, dollar ride bitch in my whip. That my baby, turquoise stones in my wrist, turquoise stones in my wrist. Look at twangin', dollar ride bitch in my.
That's what I have to say to y'all.
Hey, hold on. I'm getting a call. Hello, this is Money Gang.